But it's a good question. Because just because I didn't answer that question doesn't mean that you should not find an answer, right? So each of you should figure out that answer for your own. Look up and see the people, the scholars that you trust, and what do they say about this. Then maybe email me as well. Maybe I'll compile a list of different opinions. Okay, the second point being that how do you be confident about Islam, right? So the second thing is not only that we are doing Dawah, but we have a different challenge, which is that even if you may not be doing Dawah, doesn't mean that other people are not doing Dawah on you. Okay, what do I mean by that? So I have a very simple example that I just recently came across. There's a good science and technology and business book that I highly recommend to people and the youth and whatnot. It's called Loonshots by Safi Bakel, if that's how you pronounce his last name. However, see, one thing that he does in his book, really good book, right? But it is a chapter in which he talks about, lack of innovation, being backward, okay, or preventing innovation. Good point, fair point. But the way that he presents it, he calls it Moses' trap, okay? And he showcases it as if religious people are the ones who are, preventing innovation. Okay, that's obviously someone who doesn't have knowledge, a youth, a teenager, seeing this, hearing this from their professor, can have ideas, right? So the point being that protecting our faith and being confident about it is really, really important. So let me just do a quick poll here. From Islam or the seerah of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do we have any example that the innovations are discouraged, encouraged, accepted? What would we say to this guy? Yes.
So a situation I think of the trench.
Yes, very good example, right? So Battle of Trench, the battle is strategy. The Sahaba, they came up with the strategy, especially Salman Farsi radiallahu anh, and the Prophet encouraged it, accepted it, and that was a very norm thing. There are many other hadith about it, related to the family matters, related to the matters of agriculture, in which these were all open dialogues when it comes to the innovation, advancement in the worldly matters. That was encouraged, accepted, applied, and so on and so forth. So that's just one example of how people come from a subtle angle trying to belittle the people of religion. So what are some ways that you can actually grow your own confidence and the confidence of your children, youth, teenagers about their faith? So there are some examples in this picture. Let's see if you guys can tell me some ways of being more confident about your faith. Okay, let's take one moment there.
Expressing yourself as a Muslim. For example, any woman who's wearing hijab or hijab, she's a confident or she's proud of her religion.
Okay, well, what steps can she take to make it easier? That's hard, right? In general, she should do it, but it's hard. So what can she or he do to make it easier? Yeah.
Seek knowledge.
Okay, seek knowledge, right? So know what you're believing in. Okay, anybody else? So many examples in the picture. Okay, so one, know who is Allah, right? Realize who is Allah, the importance of Allah in your life, your dependency on Allah. So Allah becomes the most important one that you need to please and that you desire to please, as opposed to anybody else from the creation. And understand the logical reasoning behind it, so you can be confident that we are not just following some myths and some stories. You have actually a logical backing of what you are following. Some other examples would also be to be proud of your history, because many times Muslims tend to believe that Muslims are just taking things from the society, not contributing to the society. So know about the contributions of Muslims in the past, as well as Muslims' contribution today. I'll give some examples later. And so there are some examples that people have compiled, right? So you have a CNN article of different Muslims and their contributions. Another example is be an expert in your field. So add value, whether it be at work, college, university, community, social work. Add value to people, right? But once you have that state, do not be hesitant to show that you are Muslim. Okay? So it was one interview from Habib I was listening to. I tried clipping it and then embedding. That required more technical work than I had time for. So he mentioned that, I don't know, when he sees celebrities and sports people, when they become famous, not everybody is like that they're proclaiming and being visibly Muslim. And we can, blame them, but the question is, are we being visibly Muslim? Or are we also hiding our faith? It's relatively easier for sisters who wear hijab, but other than that, like, are we actually being Muslim, or are we trying to just hide? And there are other examples from Toronto as well, so you can see from the slides. So it's good to know like different people and Muslims and how they're contributing to the society, because people usually don't think about it. They just think that they're blended into the regular society, and you don't see the Muslim contributions. Max Gala is a Toronto organization. They're also working on showcasing excellence from Muslim work. So subscribing to them, seeing some of the highlights that they are producing is also useful. Quranic Institute is also doing like a series on confident Muslims and things like that. So there are many other examples like that that can help, especially to show these role models to our young people. The other way you can be confident is to not be the only Muslim. Okay, hang out, in your job, school, education, whatever, be around other Muslims, so it makes it easier. Otherwise, you have to be able to stand as a solo person as well, which is possible but harder. But if you have righteous people around you, that makes it easier. So that's just like module 2 about being confident about your faith. Now we'll talk about the most important thing,